And what I would like to start off with is just like where I know where some of you are, but not everyone. I would love to just like pop it in the chat. Like, where are you joining us from? Because I think this is a kind of a global event, which sounds bigger than it is, right? Like the globe is huge, but there's not that many of us. But like, I just like to get a feeling for like where all of the threads are connecting. New Mexico, Seattle, Washington, UK, Peru. That's exciting. The UK, Memphis, Tennessee. Yep. Oh, that's so fantastic. Saskatchewan. Yep. Michelle. Yep. Yep. And UK, Australia, our 6 a.m. Cal. This is so exciting. Thank you. And before we jump in, I would also like to find out like what it is that you're thinking this is going to help you with. I know that's kind of a loaded question. So let's just like narrow it down to like, what is it that you do for a living that you think would benefit from energy hygiene? And just like a simple, sentence, and don't think too hard on it, but like the first thing that comes up, like how might this help you or your clients or whatever you're doing in life. And maybe you're not in the professional sphere, maybe you're raising kids, maybe you're a caretaker for an elderly parent, maybe you're whatever your situation is. Balance, laughter yoga. Oh my gosh, laughter yoga. That sounds like the best kind of yoga. I have tried hot yoga and no thank you. Laughter yoga sounds totally like it's right up my alley. Protecting yourself from energy vampires. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, perfect. Raising your vibration and others. Yeah, yep. Oh, that's beautiful. Being able to recover more quickly from seeing clients. Yeah. And being able to have like that time in between sessions to be able to do that is fantastic. If you're not muted, please go ahead and mute yourself. Um, I would like to share that at the end of this, I'm going to do a few announcements about upcoming events that I'm hosting or participating in. And if any of them resonate with you, I'll make sure that you have the links, you know how to jump in. And I did email out a workshop document for today. Did everyone receive that? Help you from being exhausted after a day of coaching, not to feel so drained. Yeah, I'm still reading like the comments. Thank you. Did everyone receive the downloadable document? You can print it up or you can just like have it on your screen or just, follow along with my own. You don't necessarily have to have it. Okay. So there's somebody that doesn't. I will grab that real quick. I can pop that into the chat. So in the chat right now, I'm going to post a shortened URL that should take you right to that document. Oh, yeah, help you from not being exhausted after a day of coaching. Yeah, that's big. So let's go ahead and get started with just like the importance of energy hygiene, right? So this matters because human systems are porous. And this is by design, right? Just like um we can pick up invisible to the naked eye microbes from other people, places, objects. We can also pick up energy from these other people, places, and yes, even objects. And this happens at a few different levels. So there's some that we're really familiar with. And if you're not muted, please mute yourself. This can happen through the nervous system. That's the one that we most regularly notice because we're a tribal species, right? We happen to have built-in capacities to co-regulate with others, to mirror others, to have empathy for others. And those of us that happen to be wired for vigilance, like we're probably picking up a lot more than the average person. So we might be absorbing other people's tensions, their beliefs, their fears, their sense of urgency, their grief, their excitement, and also their joy, right? Their peace, um, and love, and love. But because most of this happens below our conscious awareness, we're not getting to pick and choose what we pick up and what we absorb. We're just like little sponges, just picking up whatever. And if we don't clear ourselves and learn to become sovereign with our own energy, we can start to lose track of what is actually ours and what we're picking up. So anyone in here ever pick up on someone else's like nervousness, for example? Yeah. And then perhaps mistakenly think that you're the one who's nervous, only to find out when you leave that environment or you step away from that person, your own nervous system starts to regulate again and discover that it wasn't yours to begin with. You just accidentally absorbed it. And this can happen on an individual level, right? But it can also happen at a collective level, which we're seeing in our world right now in a big way. When we're in an environment where there are lots of people experiencing an emotional response to something or other. And sometimes this can be really helpful. It can even be inspiring. Like, so think about like singing in a choir, right? Or doing a yoga class or a wellness retreat with several other people that are all like on the same wavelength. Or even at a really large scale, you know, like a hypnosis event, conference, or a Tony Robbins weekend, right? Humans are, like I said, a tribal species. We know this. We're wired this way. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be really disruptive and uncomfortable. And in extreme cases, can even lead to situations of mass hysteria and herd mentality. And I'm not going to get political. I promise. I promise. To the best of my ability. But it's important for us to preserve our own energetic presence so that we can be discerning about what it is that we are allowing ourselves to absorb and preserving that emotional clarity. You know, if we don't clear ourselves regularly, then we start to react unintentionally to borrowed energies. And we can also unknowingly, without any intention whatsoever, be imposing our dysregulated states, our chaotic energy onto others, because we all have energetic bodies, all of us. Also sometimes called auras. There's different terms for this, but and it's not as woo as it might sound, though I think that everybody in this room is probably okay with the woo. But you know, I'm going to go ahead and touch upon the fact that we do have scientific research that reveals that the human body emits a measurable electromagnetic field, particularly from the heart and the brain. I'm going to show you a picture. You've probably seen it, but I'm going to show it to you in a minute anyway, which extends beyond the boundaries of our physical body, and it interacts with the environment and everybody in it, and often called a biofield. And well, let me just show you. Let's just do that. And I'm wearing new glasses, so if I keep doing this, it's because I haven't quite figured out where like the progressive lens like starts and stops. So please forgive me. So here is, can you guys all see that? Okay, so Finnish research team reveals how emotions are mapped in the body. And researchers at Aalto University have revealed how emotions are experienced in the body. So we can see like different parts of the body being activated through different emotions. And emotions come from energy, and energy is basically emotions and movement, right? And so we know that this is measurable now, right? This research was carried out online with over 700 individuals from Finland, Sweden, and Taiwan. They all took part in this study. The researchers induced different emotional states and then did a self-reporting, you know, asking where each participant felt whatever in their body, and then used pictures of the human body on a computer for them to identify it. And what we came up with is, and this is, I guess, hold on, I have written down, let me just look. This research was funded by the European Research Council, the Academy of Finland, and the Aalto University project. And it was first published in December of 2013 in a scientific journal called The Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. And I can give you, if anybody's interested in that original research, I'm happy to give you the link. Just reach out to me after today's workshop. But I just want to, make sure that you understand that this isn't just like me sitting in my own little meditative state coming up with these ideas, or me reading a book and going like, oh yeah, this is it. Like, this is verifiable. We know that our human bodies emit energy. And so energy hygiene basically just restores our sovereignty. It helps to prevent us from shedding our dysregulated stuff onto others, and it helps us to not absorb others. It also helps with like strengthening decision making and clarity, because contaminated emotional fields can distort our perception, right? Our perception of reality. And since reality is, I'm going to just say it, 100% based on our perception, then you can understand why this is so important. Yeah. When your system is overloaded with stuff that you're absorbing from wherever, willy nilly, your intuition will become muddy. It will be very difficult to tell, like, oh, is this a sensation I'm having because I'm feeling this way, or because I'm picking it up from somewhere else? And discernment can restore you to sanity. So it's not mystical. I mean, it is, but it also isn't. And we're starting to find that science and spirituality are just like two different languages to describe the same phenomenon. And so just to bring this down to like a really practical, pragmatic point, like you wouldn't go out in public or enter into the sacred space of a therapy session or maybe even a family dinner without at least having taken a shower at some point not too long ago, right? Or like washing your hands, brushing your teeth. And chances are you've probably shared space with someone that maybe didn't get that memo somewhere along your path, right? Or maybe they just couldn't for whatever reason. Or maybe they just weren't aware of their aroma. And it can be a bit off-putting. And so, like, because what's happening, and this is, I think, fascinating, at the molecular level, you're literally breathing in a thriving colony of bacteria from their body. That's why you smell it. It's coming in through your olfactory sense, and it's off-putting because your body is saying, "Ho ho, wait a minute, hold on, this is not comfortable. We don't want this in here." But that's just the stuff that we can actually smell. So at the level of pure energy, our senses are picking up people's stuff through other physical sensations, typically emotions. So we'll sense that with our bodies instead. So before we dive into the exercises, I just want to drive the point home that energy hygiene is for everyone. Just like bathing, just like brushing your teeth, just like washing your hands, just like doing your best to have a strong, healthy physical immune system. So it might be helpful to think of this as like your spiritual immune system. And it's especially important for therapists, coaches, healers of any sort, teachers, caregivers, parents, honestly, everyone. But if you regularly hold space and you don't clear yourself, at least afterwards, if not before and after, then you can and you will accumulate emotional residue. And over time, this can show up in your own body as fatigue, as irritability, as compassion, exhaustion, and even subtle resentments. And you might not even know why. You'll just suddenly feel irritated by so-and-so or resentful towards so-and-so, but you can't quite put your finger on why. And it's because maybe you're absorbing something, some unresolved stuff from them. So think of it maybe as like preventative maintenance. Without energy hygiene, you end up accidentally outsourcing your authority to external sources, and not just like on an individual level, like to the news, to social media feeds. So yeah, anyone ever feel like their mood or their mindset was like pretty okay? Might not be great, might be neutral, might be whatever, but or even their physical health. And then you come across a news story or something in your social media feed or some really grumpy person at the grocery store in line or whatever. And suddenly you're thrown out of that like neutral space of inner peace. Somebody said, I'm curious what measurable changes happen to our body chemistry at these same times. Yeah. Yeah. We live in a really interesting time in human history where we are exposed to situations happening all over the entire planet 24/7, 365 days a year. And the fact is that our systems, our whole systems, we're simply not built for this. We're a tribal species, remember? That's the hard wiring. That's not necessarily our consciousness. That's the human aspect of us. And it's not a fault, it's a feature. And so here we are co-regulating with everyone, everywhere, all the time. So, who in here would like to take a break from that? To just be able to observe without absorbing. And this doesn't cancel empathy, but it will allow your sense of empathy to be a useful tool rather than something that just hijacks you willy-nilly, right? Without your discernment. So, with that, if everybody is feeling like, and I know I'm just like jumping right into it because there's a lot to cover and I don't have a lot of time, but if you are feeling ready and you're in a safe space ecologically to do this, I would like to go ahead and move on to the first part of the worksheet. Let's see. Anybody else want to just share a little bit in the comments about how you might have picked up something from somebody else where, or you know, the worst part, honestly, I think is not just picking it up, but when we feel something, we don't realize it's not ours. And then we come up with a whole narrative like, oh, I must be feeling this way because of, and now we've attached it to something that is actually ours when really it wasn't ours at all to begin with. Stop going to weekly family dinners partly because of some family members that were constantly, you know, on the edge. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And so pull out your worksheets or pull them up, whether you have them printed or you have them on your desktop or your laptop. But we're going to go into the sun grounding. Now, this is something that I learned from Louis Bostic of the Berkeley Science Institute. And it's really, really powerful. And we're not going to do a whole lot of time with this, but I want to show you how to do it. And then you can continue to play with this. It's also something that we do every single Monday in my collective consciousness group. Reading a few others, feeling fear because of someone else's trauma. Yeah. Different ego states appear around certain people. Yeah, because again, we're always mirroring and calibrating with others, right? Okay. Who's ready to actually jump into one of the exercises? Yeah. And everybody's in a safe, comfortable, like nobody's driving. You're all okay. This is not intended to be a deep hypnotic state, so you don't have to worry about like sliding over or down or falling. But if you know that you are one of those people that just naturally goes into a really deep state, then go ahead and get yourself comfortable and take care of your own ecology. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and just bring your awareness to your breath. Just breathing in brand new, clean, unused energy. And just breathing out all the old, stale, used up energy. And I want you to imagine that there is a skylight at the very top of your head. And if you look up high enough, even with your eyes closed, just imagine you can almost see the edge of that skylight, but it's closed. It's not open yet. And I want you to go ahead and just on your next breath cycle, exhale and allow that skylight to open. And just imagine your own energy now moving down through. It's all coming down, this beautiful sunlight coming down through that skylight, down into your body, down to the soles of your feet. And this energy, this light, it naturally resonates with the heart. And so a large part of this energy is just going to sort of stay in your heart because that's where it feels a kinship. Go ahead and let it move all the way through your body, though, even though there's going to be a larger amount of it. You might feel your heart filling up with light. You might sense that there's just something active going on there. Go ahead and let it move all the way down through your feet and let it go out your feet down into the earth, down into the earth. As deep as you feel comfortable going. And then just imagine that there are roots growing out of those channels. And these roots are inviting the earth's energy to come right back up into your body, moving up through your feet, up into your pelvis. Because just like the light has natural resonance with your heart, earth energy has a natural resonance with your root chakra, that space in the base of your pelvis. And now we're going to go ahead and let this heavier, slightly denser earth energy that's anchoring us, that's grounding us, start to move up into our heart. And you can even use the muscles in your abdomen to kind of coax it up into the heart, to let it marry together with that light that is already filling every chamber of your heart. Let them marry together. These two love each other, the earth and the sun. They've been in a cosmic dance for millennia. Just breathing that in and allowing that to expand through your entire body. Allowing that to expand through your entire body. And I'm going to just say some things that you could just follow along with in your own mind, or just listen to me. I release my past. I release my negative thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. I release my fears and anxieties. Just let them go. You don't have to think on every single one. This is not a cognitive endeavor. This is energy. I release my human relationships. I release my self-image, my identity. I release my future expectations. I release my human desires and my ego. And don't worry, you can pick any of these back up later and they'll be fully cleansed and cleared for you. But right now, let's just go ahead and release them all. Step 2, I am a being of light. You feel that now. You have the light moving through your body. You have the earth energy coming up through you, marrying together with the light. And right now, in this moment, just say to yourself, I radiate light from my heart throughout my entire being. I radiate light from my heart to everyone, starting with all of the people here in this room. And then we'll expand it in a bit. I radiate light from my heart to everything. I am in a bubble of light, and only light can come to me, and only light can be with me. And just sit with that for a little bit, allowing that bubble to expand around you. And when you're ready, just say, thank you, 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And gently bring yourself back to the here and the now, the awareness in this moment. So that the 7 steps that I just did, starting with I release my past. This is something I've actually been doing since I was a little kid. It was taught to me by a man named Jim Gore. And uh, my mother and I spent a lot of time at his house. It's now a lodge. It's a huge house, and it's out in the middle of the Appalachians in Black Mountain, North Carolina. And at the time, it was more of a community, like a commune, a new age commune. But now it's, not really that, but they still have the light center there and people can go there and meditate and everything. But Jim Gore, I was only 4 years old when he taught me how to zip up my bubble after doing this. So I've been saying these 7 steps since I was a kid. Even when I turned my back on all things woo for a little while there, I still did this. And would anybody like to share anything that came up for them, how they felt just going through this little process between the sun grounding energy and the 7 steps of bubbling up? Lighter. Good.
I came in at the last moment. Can I speak?
Yes, of course.
I just wanted to say I really apologize. I've got the times at 5:30. I've got an hour behind. Thank goodness I came on early. But I just want to say I got the last bit and it was just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm starting to do that now myself, to zip up and go into the bubble so I can really relate to it. And thank you, Kryssa. And I do apologize.
Oh, nothing to apologize for. Yeah, this is an interactive situation. And yeah, feeling the marriage at the core, Mary said. Michelle says more peaceful and calm. Yeah, if you do those 7 steps every day, it will change your life. I promise. I promise. It's such a simple thing, but it will change your life. Um, and I pair it with that sun grounding from Louis Bostic because the two together are so powerful, at least for me. And we use that same thing in our global collective consciousness group, like every week, some variation on that theme. Okay. So if you're ready, we're going to go do another one. This is all experiential, right? We're going to do this. This isn't just me telling you. We're going to actually experience this. Who's ready for the next one? By the end of this, you're going to feel like you're floating like 20 feet above your body or the earth or whatever. And that's totally fine, right? I'll help bring you back down. But that's also why I keep including the grounding in it. All right. So going ahead once again and just bringing your awareness to your breath. And this one is based on the Resonant energy balloon, credited to the Monroe Institute. You can find this in the Gateway Experience program. And it creates a felt sense of energetic and psychological safety. And the more you do it, it conditions your brain to recognize that you're intentionally entering into this like altered, focused state. So it can be really helpful in that way. And it becomes a doorway to just explore expanded states of awareness safely. So we're going to start with just keeping your eyes closed. And I want you to imagine that somewhere, wherever you are, there is a big box. We call this the energy conversion box. Mine looks like a treasure chest. Yours might look like something else. I don't know. But what we're going to do is just put all of our physical and mental distractions into it. Also, any physical pain you might be having, anything at all, just put it in this box. And then we're going to close the lid on the box. The second step is resonant tuning. Now, I'm recently coming over a cold, so I'm not going to do this part out loud like I normally would do. And those of you that have been in my live Quantum Journeys Hypnosis classes know that I actually do this like out loud with you. But because of just recently having gone through this, I'm going to mute myself and we'll just all do it unto ourselves. But all you're going to basically do is start to imagine that your energy is moving up into your head as you either hum or say ah. And I'll give you just a brief bit, but then I'm going to stop because I don't want to ruin my voice for the rest of the class. So you're going to breathe in, going up to your head, and and when it feels like your whole head is filled with this resonance. We're going to use that same skylight at the top, and we're going to let it come out, like up and out and up, and cascade down all around us in a big, beautiful balloon or bubble. So I'm going to mute myself and give you guys a chance to do this. And then let it come up through the soles of your feet, up through your body, and out through the top of your head again, cascading down around you, and then up through the soles of your feet, moving up through your body, out through the top of your head, and down around you again. And then you get to play with it. As it comes up out of the top of your head, instead of just cascading down around you, imagine it corkscrewing around you in one direction all the way, and then coming back up through the soles of your feet, and then doing it again. And then try the other direction. Feeling that vibrational energy just moving up and out and through and around and up and out and through and around, forming a continuous flowing pattern that wraps completely around you until it forms a full sphere around your entire body. Some people's spheres will be close in, some people might have it 12 feet out, whatever feels right for you. When it feels like it is strong enough, big enough, go ahead and affirm that this resonant energy balloon protects you and allows only energies that are beneficial to you. Beautiful. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and just gently start to bring yourself all the way back, getting quieter and quieter. Seal up that energy balloon, open your eyes, and come all the way back. Now, when you're doing this on your own, take as much time as you want. This is instructional, but I want you to feel it, because in a moment, we're actually going to do something very, very real with this. But I wanted you to experience what that feels like. So now you're pretty bubbled up, right? Jeremy says, Barber pole of ground and sky energy. Yes. Yeah. You know, our entire lives are only possible because of this planet and the sun. So it only makes sense to bring those energies through us, you know? And the energy hygiene part is the part that helps us to be sovereign. That's why we do the balloon, the bubble. Now, with that, before we go on to additions and fun little ways that you can add to it or shortcuts, I would like to invite everyone to, now that we're cleared and grounded and we have this sense of being cleansed, we're going to share this with each other. And I'm just going to say it. The earth is a bit of a dumpster fire right now, right? At least humanity. It's a bit of a shit show. So let's maybe utilize all of this beautiful collected energy by creating a coherent field of our energy. And then we're going to send that to the earth. And I'm going to pop a little video of Earth from the space station so that you can open your eyes and look at it if you want, or keep your eyes closed and just imagine it. Some people are more visual than others. Some people who might need that visual can have that. Alan said, felt a head rush, not unlike high feelings from marijuana. Yes. Tammy, feels like biofield tuning. Yes, or CST. Absolutely. Okay. So we've all got our bubbles, right? Now that we're cleansed and cleared and we're grounded, And I'm not forcing anyone, if you don't feel comfortable with this, then you do not have to participate in this part. If you would like to, you're going to feel a very poignant and powerful visceral sensation from this. There's no way not to. Everybody in this room who participates is going to feel this. So I'm going to invite you to just put your right hand palm down and your left hand palm up. And we're going to be in a circle, all of us in a circle, sharing our energy with each other, which is naturally opening up our own bubbles. And it's creating a torus field, like a big energy donut. We're in a circle and do you feel that? Whew. We're just going to share this with each other. You might feel your palms tingling as it moves through you. You might feel it in your heart, your throat, wherever it is. It's safe because we've cleansed and cleared first. Just continue to share this with each other. Notice wherever it is that you're receiving the light the most in your body. We're also grounded. Well, we're all points on a spectrum. We're just anchoring this in, this light. And so you can simply just imagine that we are holding the entire earth in a grid of light. We are the grid around it. And we're going to just do this for about 6 minutes. Do it this way so we can send the energy without absorbing it back into us. channeling this light, this healing. Slowly begin to send less. Just gently pulling back, sending less and less. What we want to do is just not suddenly jolt anything, not our systems, not where we're sending the light and the healing, but just continue to send less and less, and then allow that accumulation of healing and light and energy that we have brought in to just circulate amongst us again as we close the torus field. And we thank the earth and all of the beings on earth for allowing us to send this healing energy and love. And now we're going to actually seal ourselves back up, thanking each other for participating in this beautiful collective energetic healing event, but pulling back our own sovereignty once again. And if it's helpful, go ahead and really take your hands and just sort of pull them around you, zip that thing up. This is your energy bubble. This is your energy body. It's all yours. It's nobody else's. You are sovereign. There we go. Beautiful. I would love to hear anybody's experience with that. And that didn't quite go how I planned it. Sorry, I was having some technical issues. This is just always the case. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that little video that I put out where I was like, I've been doing this for years, and every single time I screw something up. But you know what? If I let that stop me, I would never do anything. So go ahead and don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself at least once a day. At least once a day. Let's see. Jeremy, do you want to just share what you wrote? You can just share it yourself. Yeah, please.
Maybe I'll just read this out loud. I think
Sure.
in regards to an experience where I felt disrupted by somebody else's energy, you'd asked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And I coincidentally had an experience with this just, I guess it was last week or in the past 2 weeks. But I felt like I had maybe one of the worst sessions that I've ever had recently. And it felt really terrible in that time, but it was important to learn this lesson. I had not set proper boundaries on how to on things that we could things we could work on at once. And they were giving me a laundry list, and I had worked with this person a few times before, and I knew that they were feeling really distressed, and it was my empathy was ratcheted up to 11. And I said, okay, we're going to take care of this as much as we can. And that was a bad idea because their distress feeding into me made me feel like I had to take care of this in the moment as much as I could, instead of focusing on a single thing, which would have been helpful because the most important thing, if we take care of it, and other things, if something else needed to happen, it would fall naturally into place, then we could do that organically. But yeah, so This threw me off. I was rushing, trying to help them find relief, and it caused me to push harder than I would normally
Mm.
push. And that was not helpful at the time. And it made that part that I was working with just walk away from me. And this was the first time that it ever happened to me, where a part was just like, I don't want to work with you anymore today. So that
What a
was a
fantastic learning experience, though.
it was a painful lesson, but it was necessary.
Painful, but sometimes that's like one of the ways that we learn things the quickest, you know,
Yeah,
unfortunately. We can learn things through play and pain faster than any other way.
yeah. So they went unresponsive, and I pivoted to guided imagery, and we finished out strong, and it was fine. But it was not as helpful as it could have been or would have been, I think. Probably I haven't gotten a chance to catch up with them. I think they needed time for things to cook,
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
Yeah.
And then we stepped in when those things didn't manifest very quickly to readdress the same things we'd worked on. And that was also kind of interfering in the process. At
Yeah.
any rate, yeah, hard lesson to learn, but I'm glad that I learned it. And moving forward, I will set those boundaries more firmly. But
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And don't try the kitchen sink approach. Uh, because that comes from ego. I mean, we want to help people, right? But that does come from ego of like, I can come in and save the day, captain everything. But really, we have to work in collaboration with their own consciousness and what they're ready for. And you totally just embodied that whole experience. So yeah, good job. Um, let's see, Alan, how cool to learn to receive and send sun and earth love. Yeah. Michelle, the earth twirled on its axis while receiving the light. Well, the video that I have actually on my computer desktop, but for some reason could not share with you, was showing exactly that. So I'm glad that you picked up on it. I think you must have some psychic abilities there, Michelle. Um, Nicole, I don't know if it's because I was cold, but tingling started in my hands and traveled up my arms and into my chest. I struggle with visualization of the light and coming through and around me, but this one felt different. Yeah, it's more kinesthetic, right? When we don't try to just see it, because I'm not a super strong visualizer either, but I am very kinesthetic and also auditory. Um, you also have a cold, so you can't breathe in through your nose. Oh my God, that was me all last week. I hear you, sister. Liz, it's really hard not to try and fix everyone and everything. Yeah. I know we want to. It comes from a sincere place. It does. We're called to help and we want that. But we also have to acknowledge that um, sometimes it's in the client's highest good to let them find it. Like it's not about us, it's about them, right? So we're just handing them the, like here's some tools and some facilitation and some things I've learned, but like it's kind of up to them to decide if they're ready. Georgina, love this process. Felt like a beautiful wave of energy through your body, tingling throughout your hands. Saw us as energy beings sitting around the earth, rotating with energy, dropping into the earth and lighting up at times. Yes. And you got hot. You had to check to see if you hadn't left the hob on. Hob meaning your oven. Yes. I mean, I'm not in the UK. I think that means oven. Yeah. That is so cool. Yeah. So now that we've done sort of the longer versions, I'm going to give you a few quick little shortcuts and additions. So on the very last page of that worksheet, sometimes you're going to want to customize your energy field, your container for specific situations, people, or environments. This can have to do with the external surface of the bubble or the internal environment that's also containing you. And other times you'll want just a speedier way to bubble up because these can be time consuming and it's beautiful and wonderful to be able to fully immerse yourself in it and give yourself a full like 20 minutes, of any of these versions. But sometimes you don't have that time, right? So let's go over the external additions and then the internal additions, and then I'll give you some quick shortcuts. And then for anybody who wants to stick around for just a quick tutorial on muscle testing, now that we're all fully sovereign, then please feel free. So for the external additions of your energy bubble or balloon, your container, one that I love to use is a reflective surface. So like mercury or a disco ball, right? Something reflective. And this works really well when you're with people who like themselves. It can be a little uncomfortable when you're with people who do not. So if you're around people who have a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of self-loathing, and then you're mirroring that back to them, imagine that that's going to be kind of uncomfortable for them, right? So use all of these with discernment, but this can be a helpful one. Another one is an invisibility cloak. So this is where the external part of your bubble has an invisibility cloak all the way around it. And this is great for when you're going into large crowds or when you have no choice but to deal with highly unpleasant people. It's also really good right before you go to sleep, because we're often traveling astrally without our conscious awareness while we're sleeping. And it would be a really good idea to just bubble up and put that cloak on, so that wherever we're going, we're not attracting attention from anybody we don't want to attract attention from. The one time that it's not helpful to do the invisibility cloak is when you do, in fact, want to be seen. So if you're the public speaker and you're on the stage, don't put an invisibility around yourself, right? If you're at a convention or a large lecture and you're the one that people are there for, don't put an invisibility cloak on yourself. If you're trying to build your business and you're putting yourself out there, your inclination might be to put the invisibility cloak to keep yourself safe, but then you're just going to be wasting your time, effort, energy, and money because you're putting all this out there, but nobody's going to see you. Okay. A bouncy one. This is kind of a fun one. So use again with discretion, but this would be whatever anybody sends you, it bounces off of you back to them. This borders on some magical stuff and it can be misused. So again, use with discernment. When you're in a situation that's full of love and compassion and support and empathy, then make it a more porous situation where you can share that. It's not always about protecting in some sort of fear-based way, but you also want to make sure that you're not shedding your stuff onto others. And so sometimes it's a good idea to make sure that it's a nice, strong boundary. Boundaries can be made of anything. They don't have to be brick walls. It can be rose bushes, right? Still prickly thorns, so nothing that you don't want, won't get in, but beautiful. Now, for the internal part of your energy bubble, one fun thing is to bring in different colors, because colors are frequencies and they carry frequency codes with them. And it's kind of like data, like you're adding extra data to your bubble. It can go on the outside too. It doesn't have to be just on the inside, but you'll feel it most if it's on the inside. So just check in with yourself and kind of go like, what color feels the most comforting or the most empowering or whatever it is that you need for that moment, right? And then fill the inside with that. Because it's not just a color, it's a frequency. And it taps into certain emotions. Another fun one, and I got this from Cindy Hallett, she's the entity doctor, is a creamy, thick white light. So this viscosity of like whipped cream or like a fluffy mousse. And you just fill up the inside. And if you're at all concerned that you might have some energetic parasites or little entities feeding off of any lower vibrational emotions that you might be experiencing, one thing you can do is imagine that it's filling up from the bottom, the inside of your bubble. It's filling up from like your feet area. It's filling you up, and then open the top and let it keep going. Like it fills up to the point where it just starts spilling out. It's just spilling out. But what this does is like anything else that might accidentally be in there with you just kind of gets pushed up and out. And then it's completely just you and this light. And when it feels like you are sovereign and there's nothing else in there, seal it back up. Just a little bow in it, tie it up. You can also add sparkles. You can marbleize it with other colors. Anything that just feels playful and joyful to this bubbling up routine. Okay, so now some shortcuts. Instead of going through all of this, because sometimes we don't have the time, you can just check in with your body and go, where is joy? Where is joy? Joy is somewhere. And if you're having a hard time finding it, think of something joyful and then go, where am I feeling that? And if you're having a hard time with that, think of somebody that brings you joy. Could be a pet, could be a child, it could be a fictional character. It kind of doesn't matter. Anything that can bring you that. Just imagine a little puppy, whatever. And then go, where in my body do I feel that? And then expand that out. Let that move through your entire body. And then take one big breath to burst it out of you and create the bubble with that. Another one, and I got this from Stephanie Conkle, and I love it. I use it in Quantum Journeys Hypnosis, is imagine that there is an orb of light above your head. Find whatever color feels right for the situation. It's nice and big. And then you can kind of grab it and pull it down all the way around your body. And then seal it up. And then add whatever additions you want, internally or externally. Another one is imagine that there's an orb of light in front of you and you can kind of hold it. And you're just holding this light. I got to move my microphone to do this. You're holding this orb of light and just, it's kind of slightly like it's right here so that you can breathe it in with your nose, but then you can exhale below the bubble with your mouth so that you're breathing in the light and then you're exhaling out anything that isn't light, and just continue to do this. Until it feels like your entire body has been filled with that. And then this gets really fun. You can expand it. Now that you are the same as that light, you're resonating at the same frequency, you can expand this orb in front of you and step into it and make that your bubble. All right. So with all of that, I would just like to thank everybody. And then is there anything that anybody would like to share about your experience with this, and any questions? I'll do my best to answer them. I didn't create these. I have curated them from various sources over the years and just added my own little Kryssa sauce to them. If you have any questions about the origins of any of them, please ask, and I'm happy to share that. The bouncy, I'm rubber, you're glue. Yes, exactly. Now, I'm very particular about using this one because it's pretty powerful. And that's why I said it's bordering on magic. It really is. It's powerful. If somebody is sending you something negative and then you have that bouncy surface and it bounces back to them, it tends to bounce back harder to them. Right. One thing I've been playing with, and I'm not going to teach it because I haven't quite fully figured it out, so I can't teach it yet. But one thing I've been playing with is turning the external part of my bubble into something that alchemizes negative intentions and turns them into the exact opposite. So that if somebody does send me jealousy or envy or anger or ill wishes, that it alchemizes that into something that actually supports me and lifts me up and brings greater success. I think it might be working. And I only say that because the evidence is that for whatever reason, just in the past week, I had 3 podcast invitations. And I also know that last month, I found out for sure that there was somebody that was sending me some pretty negative ill intentions to my business. So I'm like, maybe it's working. But I don't feel confident enough in it to actually teach that yet. I just wanted to share that that's something I'm playing with because I'm always learning and growing and playing with stuff. So let's see. Recommendations for difficulty with visualization. Well, I do, but also, I mean, it's just a different brain wiring, right? It's not a disability. So if you don't visualize very well, you probably have other senses that are very keen. And so maybe that's how you do things. Most people that aren't super visual are very cognitive. Like, you know, a thing, like you have the sentience, the cognition of a thing without seeing the thing. Is that the case with you? I can't see who said that. But here's my, it's not really advice. It's just something that I've been playing around with. There is an app called Luminate, Lumenate. And you can do it just on your phone, or you can get the little visor. I was doing it on my phone for the past year and a half, and then I did finally break down and got the visor so it goes all the way around. But what it is, you have your eyes closed and it plays music and it has guided meditations, whatever, but it also has these flashing lights that you have your eyes closed, so they flash to your third eye. they flash to your pineal gland and they start to open things up this way. And what I've noticed is just from using this, I have much more vivid dreams now. And when I get into a certain level of meditation, I can visualize, but I still don't have the ability to just visualize like on the spot. Like if somebody says, describe what's inside of your refrigerator, I can do that cognitively, but I can't see it. And that's just my brain wiring. Let's see. Just trying to fabulous process. Include in daily life. Yes, 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 yes. Include it every day. Morning, noon, night. Yeah, it will absolutely change your life. I promise you. You experienced this, but always wonder if it's coincidental. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Like I would just say, don't worry about that. Like look at yourself as if you are your own research scientist, right? And you're following around the little Nicole bug. What is the Nicole bug up to today? What is the Nicole bug thinking, feeling, doing, etc.? So the Nicole bug seems to be having this thing that seems like maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not. I don't know. But that way you can just like observe it without putting that judgment of like, oh, it's just in your imagination, or oh, it can't possibly be real. Just like notice the data that's coming in. Anyway, that's my advice. I am not the end all be all. I'm nobody's guru, but that's just what I would suggest doing, because that way you don't have to worry so much about like, well, is this real? Am I just imagining this? Is it just a coincidence, or is there some higher form of communication going on here? I say, whatever it is, let it happen. Just get curious instead of judgmental. Um, let's see, Jeremy, apart from Mike Mandel hypnosis, you're unsure. It seems there's some resources online for recommendations. So yeah, Luminate. I really highly recommend that. The app itself, you can get a free version and you can go so far with that. And then you can get a paid version, then you can go farther. And then you can also get the headset and do even more. And I've been using the headset for two things. I'm using it for that, but I'm also using it to learn how to see with my eyes closed, or see without visually seeing. So like I can see little bits of light around it, and then I'll place things in front of me or like walk around the house with it on, and then just kind of look out through the sides to give my physical eyes the sense that I can see. But what ends up happening is it fills in the rest of the space, and then I can actually kind of see. And I'm getting better at that. I'm not great at it, but I'm getting better at it. Who wants to stick around for the muscle testing? Yeah? Okay. Fantastic. So that was a fun little experiment. I just wanted to see, after sharing all of this energy, if you guys were going to talk amongst yourselves, but you didn't. So that's my little experiment. I'm always like the researcher. I can't help it. It's just how I'm wired. But I was like, I wonder what's going to happen when I leave. Are they, because we just shared this beautiful energetic experience. I figured somebody's going to talk, but you guys just all shut yourselves off the screen. No judgment, just noticing. It's just data. Anyway, I did want to share a couple of things. Here's the quick announcements. One, Quantum Journeys Hypnosis does have live training coming up. It's starting next Saturday. I know Alan's in it. Yay, for the second time. It's so exciting. I love that. And I'm going to share that link right now. There's 3 spots left, 2 or 3. I can't remember. It might be, I think it might actually just be 2. And you can find all the information about that there. You can also jump into the academy itself if you don't want to do the live training. There's a couple of different options. One's just a monthly subscription. Another one has all the bells and whistles. This is a new thing, but it comes with the academy. It comes with the live training, and you get a customized professional website built for you with all of the automations, with scheduling and payments, and 2 months of launch support to get your business up and running, whether or not you've been doing it for a while or it's a brand new thing. I know Mona just did that. And so she's going to be maybe at the live training this time, maybe next time, but she's definitely going to be doing all the rest of it. And then if you were curious about the Global Consciousness Collective, this is actually, it's not a course, it's not a class, it's not an educational thing. It is a supportive community It's been going on since 2021, and it's where we're basically harnessing energy and light to send to various recipients, sometimes to geographical locations, sometimes to the whole planet, sometimes to each other, most of the time to each other for various things. But what we found is that as a natural side effect, it tends to activate our own intuitive and psychic abilities. And like some have found that they are like naturally medical intuitives. I'm not one of them, but we have others. Or that they are evidential mediums or like different things. Um, and that's every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And so let me get the link for that. And I'll share that if you're interested. And that's just a super affordable monthly thing, and it's not about certification or anything. It's about just improving our communication and connection with each other and the earth, and then also helping to raise the frequency of everyone everywhere, starting with us. And then lastly, I'll be presenting at Hypnotic Horizon. It's a free virtual hypnosis conference, April 25th and 26th. And here's the link for that. And that one is called, it's actually one that I was going to do for Hypno Thoughts Live in 2025, but things got in the way and I couldn't do that. But it's called Watch What You Wish For. And it's the neuroscience and the psychology behind manifesting. So there's that. Okay. So as far as the muscle testing goes, who here does muscle testing? Who's familiar with it? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, cool. There's lots of different ways. The one that I teach in Quantum Journeys Hypnosis, because it's just the easiest, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with my microphone, with my headphones on. I'm going to try, but it's just the one where you turn your body into a pendulum. So I think I'm going to have to take these off, and then I won't be able to hear you, but you can hear me. So you just turn your body into a pendulum, and you sort of shake yourself out first, get a reset on your nervous system, right? And then go ahead and establish what direction is yes and what direction is no. I do this by putting my hands over my heart area, and then I'll just ask something that I know definitely has a yes to it, like, is my name Kryssa? And I'm moving forward. Is my name John? No, it took longer. Maybe I was a John in another life. Anyway, do I like broccoli? No. Oh, gosh, that was a definite immediate no, do not like broccoli. Do I like ice cream? Yes, very much so. Okay, so then you can ask other questions. You can ask about supplements. You can ask about situations, a decision coming up. Should you go on vacation? I have the opportunity to get an office that is in a wellness collective where they're going to be like advertising and promoting everybody in that collective. And so I'm like, oh, should I do this? I don't know, because there's like pros and cons, right? So I muscle test over that stuff. Now, there's also, if when you do this, your yeses are backwards, going back, and your no's are forward, just recalibrate. I didn't know this when I first started doing muscle testing. Well, I guess I've been doing muscle testing my whole life because our general doctor was a chiropractor who did this, but like I didn't know about the recalibration when I first started teaching it. I now know. If you're wonky, cattywampus, you can recalibrate by thinking of something that you absolutely really love and intentionally moving yourself forward, just like you would recalibrate a pendulum, right? And then thinking of something that you really don't care for at all. The stronger, the better. So like, I'm not a fan of dog poop, right? So I will make myself move backwards with dog poop. And that just tells my system like, yes is good, and forward and back is not good. And then you can just reestablish the connection and ask the questions again. So in my hypnosis sessions and what I train my students to do is always ask if we have consent from the higher consciousness to communicate, and get a yes. Now, I've never gotten a no on that. I do sometimes get a no when I ask, do we have consent to communicate with the subconscious? Because the subconscious is like the guard at the gate, right? It doesn't necessarily want us in there messing with stuff. So sometimes we might get a no, and then we know that we need to do a little bit of parts work. on whatever part's saying no. You can ask it, oh my gosh. So there's also the arm kind, right? If you have a second person, then you can hold your arm up and have them push down. And if it stays nice and strong, then that means yes. And if it goes down easy, then that means no. I used to use this on my twins when they were little, when they were growing up, because yeah, twinspiracy. Like whenever one of them did something and then they would lie about it, it's not me, the other one did it, you know. And so I would do the muscle testing and always get to the bottom of it. And it got to the point by the time they were 12, they would just put their arms like this, like, you don't touch my arms, mom, because I would find out the truth right away. You can also do it by, there's this one where you put your middle finger on top of your index finger. And this one takes a little bit of getting used to. So you'll have to calibrate a few times each time you do it. So like think of something that you really, really like and make sure you use the same amount of pressure from your middle finger if possible. And kind of be like, do it, you know, something that you know is a definite yes and feel how strong that is. And then something that's a definite no and feel how it goes down. Another one, this one might be easier, is to make 2 circles with your middle finger and your thumb, and you link these together. And then if it's a yes, again, calibrate, make sure, like ask yourself a question that's a definite yes, and it shouldn't break. It should be nice and strong. And then ask yourself a question that's a definite no, and it should break apart pretty easily. And so you can use that same thing to test other questions, other situations. Eventually it gets to the point where you don't even have to do these, because what you'll feel is your heart either sort of expands or contracts. So you'll ask a question of yourself and it feels expansive. So like right now with this office, I'm at a bit of an impasse because there's both expansion and contraction happening. And so that's why I'm incorporating other methods, because it's not just all one or all the other. But with simple like yes or no questions, you should be able to feel that after you do this for a while, or maybe you already do. You know, maybe you're one of those people that's already just like tapped in and you know that, how to feel that. The thing is, though, if you're not sovereign, you might be getting input from things that aren't just you. So that's why it's important to do the energy hygiene and to be sovereign, so that when you are muscle testing or using a pendulum or dowsing rods, that it's your consciousness and only your consciousness that is coming through. If you have any entity attachments, if you have any energetic parasites, they could be muddying the responses. And so do that cleansing and clearing and bubbling up. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're actually not that far over time, despite the fact that I had technical issues and I had to take a potty break. So do we have any questions? Any feedback? Anything at all that you want to share? You do the heart expansion and contraction and never did the muscle test with the other ways. Yeah. Yeah. That was Dr. Mona Ali. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you for, again, putting up with it being a week late. We have far fewer participants than we initially had. And I think maybe that was like divine intervention. You know, it was supposed to be a smaller group. Good session. Thank you. Trying to work out how to protect your energy for ages. You have many tools now. Yeah. Yeah. And the most important times to do it, for like my understanding, is before you go out into the world, like after you wake up, whatever, like I do it right upon waking up, but if you don't do it right then, like do it before you go out into the world, before you have sessions, and then most importantly, before you go to sleep at night. You are probably working much harder than you realize when you're sleeping, just so you know. Like we're all doing all kinds of interesting things energetically when we're completely unconscious. So bubble up, buttercup. And when you get the recording, it will probably be doctored a bit. I'll take out the mistakes and add in the things that were supposed to be there, like the video of the earth. So it might be better. It won't be as like, you know, interactive, but it'll at least technologically be better. Thank you so much, everyone. Mwah. I hope to see you soon. at something else that I'm doing. It was lovely to invite you into my world for the afternoon or the morning, as the case is for some of you. Oh, thank you for the hearts, Liz. All right. Hi, Ranga. Did you just join us?
Missed the whole thing because my Zoom wouldn't work for some
Oh,
reason. But I joined
well,
at the last moment. I'm sorry. So sorry.
no,
Sorry
that's
to miss
okay.
it.
You're going to get the replay. It's fine. And
Okay.
also, when you come into the Global Consciousness Collective on Mondays, we'll be going over some of this stuff again.
Okay.
So you'll get to catch it tomorrow, some of it.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. Have a
Bye.
wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. It was quite
Thank
an
you.
honor to be here with you.